I ain't gonna lie. This episode of Raw probably one of the best Raws in a while. I'll give it a little. I'll put it. I'm gonna put it in his own little box. Raws leading up to Mania, because I'm like, yeah, a Raw in like September, maybe not gonna hit the same way or going to a regular solid pay per view. Yeah. But this one, I thought that I was like they hit out the park on pretty much every spot or match that they can do for WrestleMania. Like the promos, the action. I was like, hell, even like the matches was pretty much like there wasn't really anything that was really lacking. I mean, and even the thing that I lacking still moved the needle or moved something to the point. But let's go ahead and just talk about the main thing in the room, the big elephant, or should I say the main rock and a hard play that Cody found his ass up against. Look, bro, I'm just saying. Cody, first of all, Cody promo at the beginning, I thought was good. After the okay one that he had on SmackDown, this one hit a lot more, which starting to become like a thing that like on Raw has hit. They're a little bit more impactful than the ones I have on SmackDown. But this one, he basically, he got the crowd into it, just basically saying like, The Rock, like, you just mad because I was like, because as the Royal Rumble winner, I basically just like poo-pooed your party. That's pretty much it. I was like, it was really good. I'm not gonna do the whole thing. I was like, I'm not here to do the verbatim and stuff. But as he was about to tee it up, The Rock came out. Now, I'm pretty, most people might probably knew that he was gonna come out. But I ain't gonna lie, when he came out, it was still kind of like, oh, all right. And before I even get to anything else, the fact that it was in Chicago, thank you. It almost like you wish this could have just been the last week, just because Chicago's just a great crowd. Cause you felt everything with all of this. But pretty much Rock came to the ring. They just stood there. I was like, let the crowd do their thing. He just went over to Cody, whispered something, walked out. No biggie, no biggie, no biggie, whatever. Like that. We still never found out what he said. But we know what he did, and that will beat the hell out of Cody Rhodes. Pretty much at the end of the Jey Uso match, I was like Jimmy, Solo, who already sort of showed their ass earlier out, to where we knew they was in the building, came through. Seth and Cody had to start feeding them all, and Seth is over here handling Solo. Next thing you know, Drew McIntyre had decided he wanted to get in there, takes out Seth. I was like, Jimmy just chilling in the ring. Nothing, he doesn't do anything, whatever. Okay, cool, whatever. Then we go backstage, and I will say that I'm like, it's weird that Jimmy ain't do nothing else afterwards. But Cody back there just slugging it out with Jimmy. Then he just start taking on Solo, and we're like, yeah, Cody, you got the upper hand. You do this, man. And Rock, this big ass, just comes down there and just start wailing on him. Eventually taking them outside where it's just raining, downpouring. And I'm just saying that you couldn't have did that any better. Like the rain, it raining helped out a lot more because it just looked like you already getting your ass beat, and now it's raining on top of that too. Boy, gonna catch pneumonia. So I was like, after we out there, The Rock just like, you think I'm gonna let you talk all this to me and say all these things, and there was gonna be no retaliation for your ass? Like, and then he's, basically cussing the whole time that, they had to bleep out. And he's just like, look at what you making me do, this whole thing, and we're like, not. And then it just gets to the point where he just lunges his ass at his own bus. The American Nightmare little bus. And he's talking to the camera. Shout out to the cameraman following him through. Jesus Christ, the Rock is so big. Pause. Right. Unpause. I don't know. Anyway, he throwing his ass against the bus. I was like, Rock's talking to us. We look back, Cody out here bleeding. And at that moment, The Rock does a thing where he's like, fulfilling these prophecies. This man done pulled out of his weight belt that said Mama Rose on the back of it. All nice and white, just so you can see when he starts just smearing his blood on the belt. And just being like, I told you. Like, I told you. It ain't happening at WrestleMania. It's happening right now, basically. And just left him out there, then like spat at him, calling the man boy, you know, I was like basically just tearing his ass up like he over here didn't make it back for curfew. And I'm like, that's how I was like, I mean, the only thing that would have made it better maybe if it would have been the last thing going into WrestleMania, maybe. But you know, you want to give that a little bit of like, oh, okay, he, you know, that little leeway, get it licked back to see what he does next week. I don't think he's gonna really do anything next week, but still, hey. Anyway, Cody, I was like, look, you, whatever talking you was doing, it ain't working. It ain't doing what you need to do. Cause The Rock said, all right, cool, I can do this talking, and he could do a little bit of walking tall. If you've seen that movie, that's basically what The Rock was out here doing. Whew. First of all, how you end it. Now, let's go to the other thing that happened in there. I was like, pretty much, I was like, we could really just go. I was like, I'm gonna just hit the matches up real quick because there wasn't real live matches. I was like, Ricochet and JD had a great match. I was like, they had a nice back and forth. They worked really well in the ring, but basically Ricochet, basically got. I was like, dang, did he lose or did he win? Wait, hold on. My memory right now. My memory is over here. I think that he won. He won. I'm just sorry. I was like, it was the part where I remember after the he did like his move and he flipped on the JD's knees and I was like, wait, did he lose? My bad. I was like, it was a while ago that I was like, all the stuff going in my mind about oh boy Cody. Anyway, the fabulous match. I was like, we had Candice LeRae versus Ivy Niles. I was like, they're further in that little story. I was like, that was good. That basically, she got on the ropes, beat Ivy Niles. We'll see how that goes. Having basically putting Indy in a precarious spot to be like, help me cheat, but she's not doing it. The New Day was facing DIY. I was like, a match. I was like, didn't really do anything. Basically, the whole point was having Miz and R-Truth on commentary, and then Judgment Day coming out there and wiping all their asses out, and yeah, beating the hell out of every single one of them. I was like, Andrade was fighting Vinci, and also a good match too. Vinci's a really good wrestler. It's just that he's also in the same thing like JD, where your ass is going to be the one that's taking a pin, and you're going to be known as pretty much jobber in a way. So, but Andrade, I was like, looked good, had a good showing. I was like, we'll see how he goes. I was like, but doing good. All right, cool. That's over there. Let's go to the main other promos here. We had, man, what should I go? I was like, you know what? We're gonna go with Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. Rhea came out with Dom. They were saying like, hey, you ducking her, you ain't showing up. Becky come out here to start being like, look, just because I like to fight and you don't fight anymore, who fault is that? And Rhea's like, I don't have to be out here trying to prove anything, unlike you, kind of thing. But the main hitter was basically Rhea talking about that, hey, after I beat you, you gonna be sitting with your daughter, and basically she gonna be the one calling me mommy. Now Becky took it to the real life part of her pop passing and not being able to see what kind of mom she is, which, you know, her, Cody, I was like, Drew has even done this too, and I was like, I feel like this one, it was fine. I don't know if it hit. It didn't really miss. I was like, it's always one of them weird, tricky things when you're using stuff like the actual death part, or more so like, you know, family backstage, real life stuff can work and stuff like that. That's what a lot of us like when we be like ooh and stuff like that. When it's the death thing, I was like, I feel like it's always a little tricky bag with it because like we know why it's being used, and I just think that's always that is just very hard to necessarily do with that scenario and like real, unless you're really out here getting like a cheer for it, it's really hard to use it in any other type of way. But anyway, and they pretty much, I was like, and then Dom pushed Rhea basically off of her, turned over really to Becky, and Becky just clocked his ass right in the jaw, real knuckles to the chin kind of thing. And then after that, they just went into a massive brawl and whatnot, and back and forth, and all the referees and Dom had to break them up. But it was a good promo nonetheless. I was gonna say that everybody just pretty much kept talking about Rhea's whole weekend, where she was just over here double cheeked up out here in the ring and showing off to everybody, and everybody having fun with it. But other than Cody, getting his ass beat, the CM Punk coming out, then he talks about Drew. Then I was like, then Drew comes out, and then through all that, where they're talking about Seth Rollins come out, and it was heated. It was really off the cuff. Drew McIntyre once again held his own against CM Punk. I thought that, kind of like the thing is with CM Punk is that you feel it with CM Punk. They're not words. There's some gravitas to his words in a way that most other people you don't feel it the same way. You hear them and you're waiting for it, but I'm like, he gives you the oomph to it. And don't get me wrong, he also got the quips to go back. But Drew McIntyre basically, I felt like, was able to go par and par with him, and CM Punk basically, CM Punk is doing this more real life than those two, and by that I mean CM Punk is like, oh, you talking junk, I'm gonna talk junk while you over here talking junk. So yeah, you might want to try to get off your little word, your little line, whatever you thought of in your head. I was like, oh my god, like, he was like, yo, boo this man. What are you talking about? I was like, oh, okay, that's how, like, he's doing all that stuff, like real interrupting type of thing. I Drew come out there with the shirts and with the meme talking about I prayed on this and whatnot, and you could tell like it's serious, go back and forth. I thought the funniest part was when Rollins was coming out, and you see CM Punk just like, oh my god, go down to a knee, that you could just hear him beat his head against the microphone. But Rollins basically saying like, you can't be out here talking about this title stuff when you ain't involved in the title. I was like, Drew said that too, but I was like, Seth's like, I'm the main dude. Like, none of y'all should have a reason to talk about any of this stuff. And so, basically, what it came to the conclusion was that it seemed like we're going to get him as a commentary. They threw out him being a possible ref. We'll see how that goes. But CM Punk not only addressed Seth, he addressed Drew. I was like, he addressed The Rock. He addressed Roman. So he pretty much went down a list. So and look, it sounds like we're going to get Roman, CM Punk at some point. I don't think we'll get The Rock and CM Punk. I mean, not fighting. We might get them face to face. But I think that's a dangerous game. We do that. Rock and CM Punk, they can at least fight that in the ring. They can do that in the ring. Rock and CM Punk, I don't know if, like, Rock works with Cody, Mike. That ain't gonna work with CM Punk, especially if you can't fight. Especially if you can't get in that ring, it just ain't gonna work. I'm just telling you. But either way, I was like, I don't know, but I was like, it's not that I didn't, but especially after night, I understand the CM Punk thing, especially him being in Chicago is another animal, it's another monster. Man, but anyway, I didn't go beat for beat or anything like that. I just gave my little interpretation of everything, just because you should watch each one of these segments in of that itself. I just want to say that was a great Raw. So Cody got his ass beat. Drew handled himself against CM Punk. I would even say Rollins did. This is the first time too that Rollins I felt like it. Like what I like about it is that it seems like the main like when Seth really goes at, and it's like CM Punk has shown it. I like Drew. You sort of got a little bit out of it. Roman, when it's the top of the people, Seth really is able to bring it in a way that when he does against other people, he's just playing the character that himself. Whereas like in all these other ones, it's like he gets real and he gets personal with it in a way that's like, oh, we doing this? Fine. Like he brings himself up a little bit higher in a way where it's like it's none of that laugh. It's none of that. He gets double serious, and I can agree with that. I was like, I'm gonna pull the Rock. I'm gonna get bleeped out here. But yes, I was like, it was great. Go watch all the segments yourself. Yeah, this wasn't really Matt centric. It was like, hey, we got one more week to WrestleMania. Let's hit all these buttons. Let's do everything we got to get you all to where y'all need to go to feel what we trying to bring y'all. And whew, they did. And it's sort of crazy because we still got a SmackDown, a Raw, and a SmackDown after this. Well, the last SmackDown maybe it won't count because, WrestleMania right there. But either way, hey, go check out the segments. I was like, just don't take my word for it or my few amount of words on this, whatever. Go get it yourself. Anyway, out.